Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Spoonful. Today is Thursday, and we have a little bit to chat about as we are wrapping up this fourth week of the Pantry Challenge. So, I started filming on Sunday of all the different foods that we were eating this week, and then the footage dissipated. That is right. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday's dinners are completely gone off my camera, and I apologize for that. But I thought it would be an excellent time to bring you in and show you what exactly we're going to do as we are approaching a foot of snow in the forecast. While chatting with some coworkers, we all were talking about what is it that you like to eat or do when the weather's that crappy and you don't feel like going outside. And everybody was discussing their favorite soups. And yeah, I have a couple that I really truly love, and I'm not quite sure if I shared it here on the channel. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some of those things cracking early before the snowfall. A lot of people are rushing out to the grocery stores, and I currently don't have to go. There are some things that I have allowed myself to purchase during this challenge, and I will make a video on those few items because I'm going to grab them or have grabbed them this week. So I will show that to you guys in a separate video. But other than that, I think we have everything we need right here in the home so that we can get the food we need baked and cooked. So first I'm going to start off with some warm biscuits because we find that not only we like them the day that we eat them, but we also like them the next day when they're all warm, and we throw some eggs and some bacon in the middle, have a nice warm sandwich. Inside? Yeah. Upstairs. I wanted to show you the height on that biscuit. His is full of peanut butter.
I'm going to take my gloves off.
And mine is full of butter jam. Don't ask about the egg. That's what happens when you walk away from the stove. So we're going to sit down and we're going to enjoy breakfast, and then we'll move on to the next winter storm prep item. Tonight's dinner was not a common one for us, which is chicken and dumplings. I made a normal chicken soup, thickening it with broth and some arrowroot powder. But then I made homemade dumplings, which I used gluten-free flour, butter, and a little bit of milk until it became little clumps. Dropped it into the boiling soup. Happy Friday. This breakfast is one of my favorite breakfasts, I think, of all times. I grew up eating it and I love it. When you take leftover biscuits and you turn it into a sandwich. So here in the bottom of my bowl, I have the bottom biscuit and the sausage. And here I have the top with a slab of cheese melting and the fried egg finished cooking. I'm just gonna place this right on top. And then I'm going to add a big dollop of homemade jam. That is strawberry jam from 2025. This is my son's plate. And I'm going to grab some oranges too.
Thank you for thank you for food you eat.
Good morning, friends. It is the day of the national snowstorm, and I'm in my kitchen. It is early, it's still 7 in the morning, and I'm trying to get a couple things going to make today and tomorrow run as smooth as possible. We are very prone to power loss around here. Matter of fact, the wind blew too hard like 2 weeks ago, and the power went out. It didn't stay out for long, but it does happen around here. So I want to make sure that if this power goes out, I have not only food in the house, but cooked food. And so one thing we're definitely going to get going is a sweet potato. I'm getting that boiled up now so that we can make cinnamon rolls. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to do cinnamon rolls or orange rolls. I'm going to figure that while it's rising. Another thing we're going to get going is a pot roast. My friends and I were talking about comfort food when it's cold and snowy, and one of mine is definitely something like a pot roast. So here is one of the pot roasts we picked up from the farmer. And then this summer or fall, I canned up beef and onions. So it is onions floating around in here, homemade beef stock that we got from the farmer's bones, and we went ahead and cooked that up. There's seasoning, homemade parsley, and there even did homegrown garlic in this batch too. So I'm going to put this in a crock pot and pour this right on top. So when I just opened that jar, it's an example of why you need to label your jars as best as possible. I remember when I made that batch of beef and onion broth that I had one that hadn't any onions in it. And it was just the beef broth. And I picked that up and it said beef onion on top. So I assumed it was the one with the onions, and it was not. So I'm not going to open up a second jar because that's more than enough broth for this 2-pound roast. So I just threw in some onions on top. I'm going to throw a bay leaf in it, and I'm going to get this set on low for 8 hours. Like I said, it's still at 7 in the morning, so this can cook low and slow all day. Label your jars, guys. Using the heritage wheat that we have gotten into for the last couple months, I am making orange rolls, like cinnamon rolls, except for not with cinnamon, with orange. So I let the yeast proof, and it bloomed like none before. I keep my yeast in the freezer, so sometimes I'm always afraid that maybe it's been in there too long or got too cold, but it did its thing, and it's going to make them nice and fluffy. I got the recipe from their website where you add a potato into your cinnamon rolls. My husband cannot do potatoes, so I do a white sweet potato murasaki. We did it at Christmas time and everybody loved these rolls. And so I did it again with the sweet potato. And boy, did it turn out so good. This dough can be quite sticky. It was stickier this time than before, and it's probably has to do with the fact that the house is so warm right now. But look how much it has bloomed up. We're going to enjoy this breakfast casserole in the meantime while I take out some energy out on the cinnamon rolls, flatten them as much as possible. This turned out to be a huge batch. I was able to get 24 cinnamon rolls. First set was about half of this will be the orange roll, which I have some butter and sugar, and I'm going to add in a ton of orange zest from the oranges we picked up from the farmer. Just make sure that if your oranges are not organic, to definitely give the oranges a nice scrub and soak so that you can get as much of the residue off. But here I am, just go ahead and rolling them up. And I try my best to add a ton of the butter and ingredients right in the beginning of the fold, because that will be the center of your cinnamon roll. They are a little sticky, but we'll rectify it by just cleaning the counters really, really good. But boy, oh boy, were they nice and fluffy and soft. I was able to get a dozen of the orange, and then look how much dough is left. Yeah, so we're going to turn that into another flavor. I'm going to get these covered so that they can poof some more before I throw them in the oven. I've taken some melted butter. This is about 3 tablespoons, I believe. I'm trying to remember. So I melted it in the oven, and then I'm going to go ahead and brush that on nice and smooth before we start adding some of our topping. I have done jam rolls in the past, usually with gluten-free flour, and the jam will be homemade jam that I made. My family loves when I do pecans and raspberry jam. But in this case, we just did some plain old cinnamon sugar. I leave a little bit on the edge at the top because that will be the edge I'm going to seal up the rolls, and you definitely do not want that kind of gritty. You want it to be as smooth as possible so it can help your rolls to seal. So I ended up with another dozen. So I'm doing 6 in this tray and 6 in the other tray. I will let these rise and get nice and warm, and then I'm going to tuck them in the freezer, because I'm telling you, for the next couple weeks we'll be able to have some yummy cinnamon rolls, which will be less effort on my behalf in the future. Look at those. Oh goodness, they're going into the oven and bake off. And then these cinnamon rolls are able to rise. See how they're getting all poofy? I'm going to let them rise some more. In the meantime, I do not have powdered sugar. Yes, we are all out during this challenge, so I made my own with a little bit of tapioca starch and sugar in a blender. I added some fresh orange juice of the orange that I did take the zest off, and that's what we're going to use to glaze those cinnamon rolls. Oh, it was so good. If you don't want it as gritty, make sure to let that sugar mixture sit so that the orange juice can kind of dissolve the sugar, because it's not a real fine blend when you make your own powdered sugar. It's going to snow soon. Would you like a cinnamon one? Yeah. All right. Let them get it. To bulk up the soup, I'm going to throw in this jar of veggie. I canned it earlier in the springtime, and no, I mean summertime, and I drained it off already. And then here's some green beans from the freezer. This has a little bit of green beans in it, but I'm just going to add some more. In a crock pot, we're going to go ahead and ladle it up and eat some dinner. The snow is about to fall. It's gotten really dark outside, and so It should warm us up because I believe the temperature is falling quite a bit. My husband went outside to like salt the ground and he came in, he was like, it's freezing. So hopefully now that they're back inside, they can have something warm to eat. Alrighty, looks good. As the snow is falling down and my son is out there freezing his tuchus off, I decided to come inside and make him some marshmallow fluff and some hot cocoa. That way when he comes inside, he can chill out for a little bit, maybe watch a movie, and let Mother Nature finish dropping all the lovely ice that is currently dropping. I have two recipes, marshmallow and then a marshmallow fluff. I'm going to do the fluff for today. Inside of my bowl, I'm going to get 1 cup of hot water and 3 tablespoons, which is just shy of a 1/4 cup of gelatin. I store my gelatin in a jar like that, and then I'm going to use the whisk attachment to my blender. Is it good?
Mm-hmm. Those jello-y squish.
Consistency of this marshmallow fluff is very jello-y, but it melts beautifully in your hot cocoa. What I usually do every year is use like a mold. This is for, I think, Suckers candy, but I use it for jello and fruit snacks and then marshmallow fluff. It comes out in different shapes, stars, circle, animals, but nonetheless, they're easy to pop out and throw into your coffee and hot cocoa to get a boost of creaminess and and gelatin, which has tons of health benefits. If you guys are low on protein, this is a easy way to get it in without having to eat more meat. So we are at dinner time now, and right now we're going to have something very simple. We have some leftover soup from yesterday that is mostly vegetables filled. I think it's a little bit of beef left, but tonight I did something very simple. I made some peanut noodles. So I'm going to add the peanut sauce I just handmade. And we have some soy ginger salmon. So we'll eat this with the vegetable soup. And I'm going to take our peaches that we picked, that I turned into peach pie, and get that into the oven as peach cobbler for dessert. So the game is on. Nobody's really moving around here except for me. So we will definitely be eating in front of the TV tonight, and then finishing off with some peach cobbler. And I do have some heavy whipped cream. Maybe I can make... Do I want to promise myself that? Maybe make some whipped cream? I'll see. Can't promise anything. But I'll definitely show you guys right before we serve the peach cobbler. But right now, we're about to get dinner on some plates and into our bellies. Even though I lost half a week's worth of video take on what we make around here, our goals is still the same. Eat through things that we have in our freezer, our pantry, and definitely things that have canned through the spring, summer, and fall. We have used our time wisely around here, and I'll give you an update on why we have boxes on the floor. But right now, we're going to sit back and enjoy this football season with some good dessert. See you next week, y'all.